Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it's Monday, which means another Old World Almanack. This time mustering the Grand Army of Bretonnia. This is going to focus very heavily on them, so yeah, let's just jump right in. I've been painting a lot of Bretts, as you guys know. So, Warhammer the Old World is galloping into position on its finest barded Bretonnian warhorses. So it's now time for our next look at the rules. How we know how to plan, move, shoot, fight, run away, cast magic, and soup it all up with universal special rules, but without an army, general, points, or a plan. We're really just a bunch of skeletons milling around in the field. It's time to muster your forces and select an army. So building your army. As they have always been in real life, armies in Warhammer the Old World are selected according to a system of points. Games do not have recommended point values. As long as you've got a general and 3 units, you have an army. However, 2,000 points per sides will make for a substantial 2 to 4 hour game, perhaps involving 100 or more models each. Okay, so we're kind of expecting that. 2,000 points is the general thing anyway. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool. 100 or more models. I mean, it depends on what faction, I guess, you play. Stuff like Skaven would be really cheap. Anything with a lot of chaff. But I imagine that Bretonnians would be a bit more expensive, obviously. Well, knights and so on, right? So we've got an image here, understanding army composition lists. An army composition list is broken down into a number of categories, each listing the units that belong to it. Characters, the characters that lead your army, powerful individuals possessed of fearsome, martial and magical might. Core, the heart of your army, the iconic troops who make up the bulk of every warband and warhost. Special, skilled and veteran troops capable of anchoring a battle line of lesser warriors or performing great deeds in their own right. And finally, rare, those most unusual models in your army, mighty monsters, weird war machines, and elite soldiers of unsurpassed skill. In addition, many army composition lists will include one or both of the following categories. Mercenaries. Some armies can include specific units drawn from other army lists as mercenaries, and allies. Most armies can include an allied contingent drawn from another army list. So this is the same as Warhammer Fantasy in general, core, special, rare, and all that. This is good. This is very, very good. I'm really happy about that. Mostly because, again, yeah, it's keeping true to Warhammer Fantasy, which is what a lot of us want, right? Also, core restrictions were put into Warhammer Fantasy to avoid all the funny stuff, so yeah. A little bit more info. Every faction will have a grand army upon release, a balanced list of options from which you can pick a wide variety of units, chosen from 4 categories shown above. There's usually 1 page of stipulations, but the full range of units from each faction is available for selection. Take, for example, the Grand Army of Bretonnia. So we have the Bretonnia army list here, which... wow, yeah, this is impressive. So, dukes, barons, prophetesses, paladins, damsels, and sergeant-in-arms. Ooh. Those are your Lord and Hero choices, it seems, or character choices, it says here. Core, we've got Knights of the Realm on foot, or Knights of the Realm mounted. Sorry, I was just distracted. Men-at-Arms, Peasant Bowmen, and you can actually... ooh, this is really, really cool. So, in the core section there, you can actually have a unit of Knights Errant per Knight of the Realm on foot or mounted. So there are some pretty interesting restrictions here which add some extra flavor, I guess. That, I guess, means that people won't be bringing in a bunch of cheap Knights Errant armies anymore. That was something that you could see back then with Warhammer 8th edition, which was kind of Horde Hammer, because Knight Errants are supposed to be weaker than Knights of the Realm. So in special, we have Squires, Questing Knights, Pegasus Knights, and Mounted Yeomen, and also a limit onto how many Battle Pilgrims you can get per 1,000 points. Interesting, right? I mean, limits were always in place there in terms of how much you could bring. There was also that rule of 3 too, but it looks like now it's just kind of focused on your points. And then in rare, we've got Grail Knights and Trebuchets. So you can actually bring 2 Trebuchets in a 2,000 point game, which is pretty cool. Obviously, the restrictions are there still, like up to 25% and so on. So you can't mass Grail Knights. And then we can see here, mercenaries, up to 20% of your army's point value may be spent on mercenaries, and allies up to 25% may be spent on a single allied contingent brought from, okay. Any Kingdom of Bretonnia of Army of Infamy. Oh, alright. What's that? Is that like... oh, is that the Exiled Knights thing that they talked about when they announced this, like, ages ago? Like, super, super long. I think it was about a year ago. And then you can actually bring in allies from Dwarven Mountain Holds, Empire of Men, High Elven Realms, and Wood Elven Realms. But you've got Suspicious there too, so that's still a thing. Oh, wow. Wow. See, I'm really curious about this. I'm actually really curious about this. The fact that a Duke is 1 or 0. Ooh, a Baron or a Prophetess. So I'm imagining that a Duke is like the strongest one, then it's going to be the Baron, obviously, and then the Paladin afterwards. Though a Prophetess, you know, a Spellcaster, those are the ones that you can generally get up to like level 4, right? Huh. I wonder why you would... Well, I mean, it's per 1,000 points, so you can bring one and the other one. It's just me thinking, it's like, why one or the other, in a sense, right? There's a lot here to unpack. Firstly, you can't overload your army with powerful wizards and mighty heroes, so no hero hammer. Prophetesses and barons are a rare occurrence, even in the armies of the king. There is, however, flexibility to take characters of lower ranks, paladins, damsels, and sergeant of arms. Enjoy no such limits. Okay, ooh, wow, you could bring a lot of level 2s then, right? And you'll certainly want at least one paladin for that free battle standard bearer upgrade. Nice. I mean, yeah, it's Bretonnia. You always want to bring a battle standard bearer, I guess, because it just kind of fits the theme. Even if it's not as useful, you just want the pretty banner, right? Otherwise, as long as 25% of your roster, 500 points in a 2,000 point game, is spent on units listed as core, and includes one unit of Knights of the Realm, and another of Peasant Levies, army selection is very flexible. As you'd expect, Grail Knights and Field Trebuchets aren't such a common sight, but at 38 points per model and 7 per champion musician standard, you can just about cram 2 units of 6 Grail Knights into a 2,000 point army. Perfect for any duke who prefers to keep every single one of his eggs right in one decorative basket. Talking of dukes, we should probably take a look at their rules. Okay, before we do that, I mean, it's great to see the core restrictions still there, the 25% stuff, because, again, not going full ham and just adding in whatever. The restrictions are good. If you're not used to it in Warhammer Fantasy, it might sound a bit weird, but believe me, it makes your armies look kind of fluffy too. So you're actually having to mix up and not just bringing a doom stack of, say, 8, I don't know, Gorgons or something, right? Bro, we got a lot of stats here. I mean, look at that. The Duke. Ooh, weapon skill 7, strength 5, toughness 4. 4 wounds. Characters with 4 wounds. Ooh. 5 attacks too. Ooh, wow, that's gonna... If you can kick them out to do a lot of damage, it's a shame there doesn't seem to be an option for additional hand weapons. Then again, Bretonnia never had additional hand weapons, but, I mean, it would be kind of funny, right? But we got a Morning Star, great weapon, Lancers too, shields, mounted... Questing Vow, Grail Vow, I guess those are just going to be extra abilities and so on. Well, buffs, really. Let me see here. And yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, you can take a lot of magical items. Well, it depends, obviously, on how much these magical items cost. I believe one that they showed in a previous preview was like 30-something points, right? Or maybe a bit cheaper. So that's not too bad. Obviously for a Duke, it would be a bit more expensive for a Paladin when he gets 50. But overall, these stats are pretty tasty. These stats are pretty good. Yeah, I mean, no complaints there. It says maybe mounted. That meme is going to keep on going. I imagine that, yeah, like what could they use back in the day? I just checked the 6th edition book. I mean, you could get them on a barbed horse, a war horse, and a Pegasus. And we know that a Pegasus is going to be here because there was already a mount... well, BSB, I think they showed off with that, right? So, yeah, pretty good options. I wonder if the Hippogriff is back. That would be kind of cool, right? Grognards. Oh, wow, bloody hell. I was not expecting Games Workshop to call people Grognards. May remember multiple ranks of heroes from previous editions of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and those delineations are still present and correct. A Duke is a mighty warrior indeed, no time for feasting, issuing edicts, or sprawling decorously across your throne. For these guys, every Bretonnian general is tremendously skilled at arms and as strong as a troll. I mean, with those stats, yeah, it must be. God, I love this artwork. It's so nice to see art like this again. It's been a while. I know, a lot of people say like this is old art, but it's nice to see this back, right? Anyways, options abound. You'll notice a choice of weaponry. These are taken from a larger menu of arms in the main rulebook. A Morning Star adds +1 strength and -1 AP in the first round of combat. A great weapon doubles those bonuses but makes you strike last. Oh, always strikes last is back. Okay, cool. I don't know why, but I was worried that was going to be gone and then everyone would be playing Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, right? Anyways, where were we? A lance adds similar bonuses, though only on the charge, while a shield improves your armor save by +1. Yeah, that's pretty typical. Oh, I've just scrolled down a little bit. The hippogriff is actually there. Interesting. Cool. We'll gloss over those knightly virtues for now. Suffice to say, there are 2 pages of them, and they're great. Oh, cool. But wouldn't you like to know more about the mounts? Well, guess who's back? Well, there we go, yeah. That's, see, I'm reading this for the first time, obviously, as, you know, the article's just come out. So, yeah, let's talk about the hippogriff. Alright, so, movement 7, weapon skill 5, strength 5, +1 toughness, +3 wounds. I guess these go to the characters, which is absolutely insane because a duke would then have 7 wounds. Wow. Initiative 5, 4 attacks. It's on a 50 by 50, which is a pretty big base. I just hope that it's going to be a new model and not that really old hippogriff because, yeah, I think only Leon Leonka had a hippogriff mount. You can give them barding too, which is pretty tasty. Close order, countercharge, fly 9. Ooh, pretty fast flying. Large target, stomp attacks D3, swift stride and terror. Yeah, and it's got heavy armor naturally. Okay, that's pretty good, honestly. That is honestly pretty damn good. I wonder what the point value is for this, actually. It doesn't say here, does it? Yeah. I don't know. Seriously, if it's a new model, if it is a new updated hippogriff, I will buy this instantly. And I mean the moment the pre-orders go live. Oh, I really want a new hippogriff. I've got the King Leon Leonka model, right? The really old one. Just didn't age too well. Mind you, it is, like, stupidly old, so yeah. Alright, we got a little bit more information here. Yes, your duke, or one very fancy baron, is entitled to ride a hippogriff captured as a chick and trained from birth as one of the fiercest mounts in the old world. They're fast, strong, and lethal in combat, and they fight independently of their rider, but combine profiles. Yeah, you get a lot of wounds for that, making one single model that much tougher and can dole out a lot of attacks. Combining profiles is such a good change here. Like, god damn it, there was such an issue with 8th edition with just remembering about what you're killing and what wounds is the one that you're killing and so on. Plus, there was a massive issue with, I mean, sometimes you get a mount and it would just have the same amount of wounds, so it wasn't really giving you much here. So if it's going to be a big monster like this and it's going to combine wounds, that's going to make it so much more worth it for you. I wonder if it's going to be the same for... I don't imagine it's going to be the same for horses, obviously. But like for stuff like Mornfang Cavalry, you know, big, large monsters. That would be really interesting to see, right? But yeah, on the other end of the martial scale, there are the men-at-arms. What they lack in combat prowess, they also lack in bravery, equipment, and chivalric acumen. On the other hand, they're very cheap. Well, I mean, fair play, right? Oh my god, yeah, well, that weapon skill, I'm imagining it's going to be very cheap. Weapon skill 2, strength 3, toughness 3, I mean, that's pretty average. Initiative 3, attacks 1, leadership 5. It's not bad leadership, to be honest. Unit size is 10+, so you have to bring 10. You've got them with hand weapons, polearms, light armor, and shields. You can upgrade to a yeoman champion, a grail monk, a standard bearer, and a musician. And you can actually upgrade the monk, too. Okay. So, special rules are close order. Horde. Oof. Wonder what that means. It kind of worries me when I see Horde there. Levies, peasantry, and shield wall and warband. There's a lot of special rules on essentially what is the most generic unit that you can get in a Bretonnian army. Interesting. I wonder, does like every faction have just a lot of special rules? I'm imagining a lot of these are actually just like universal special rules, barring peasantry. I think, yeah, just Bretonnia, I guess, has peasantry. I don't think... Well, militia can kind of count as peasantry for the Empire. Yeah, I guess. Alright, we have some info on the monk. The Grail Monk functions as a kind of second champion, whose blessed triptych will inevitably prove very useful. It grants the whole unit stubborn. Oh, wow. So the first time that they're required to take a break test, they don't need to risk a dice roll. Instead, they fall back in good order. Combined with Shield Wall, which allows them to give ground instead of falling back, they're capable of stealing the impetus from even the heaviest cavalry. This is actually pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, it makes sense now, right? Why they've got, like, less weapon skill. They're not there to do damage. It's more of a case of they're literally being the anvil, right? Yeah, I mean, I like it. It sounds cool. I mean, weird that we can't see the price of the men-at-arms, though. I mean, we know what the upgrades are, but we can't see the generic price. I'm imagining it's going to be cheap. Maybe cheaper than the actual upgrades, too. I don't know. And lastly, we have some information on the armies of infamy. The Grand Army is not the only way to select a force, however. Each faction will gradually gain access to armies of infamy, which provide often wildly different ways to muster a force. As a Bretonnian lord, you may wish to enter exile, especially as it means that you can take the forbidden border prince's bombards into battle. Bro! Freaking bombards! Well, those were like, what, 4th edition? 5th edition? That's honestly really, really exciting. Sorry, I had to stop recording because sirens went off for some reason. But, yeah, I am super pumped up. And, yeah, we got a little bit more information there. While those who really just enjoy knights and more knights may prefer an errantry crusade. So I guess they might have less peasants and just only knights. That's pretty cool, right? There's no Old World Almanack next Monday. It's Christmas Day. Yeah, that makes sense. But check on the 26th for something for an off-white Christmas. Ooh. Tomb Kings. Wait. We've seen the Tomb King reveal, right? We've seen new characters. We saw the dragon. Yeah, I wonder what's next. Oh, and they've also confirmed, by the way, that the factions that aren't getting army books are also getting a PDF at launch, which is absolutely exciting. Yeah, this is super cool, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. I really want to play. I really, really want to play. I've been painting up so much stuff lately. I mean, you guys have been seeing me painting Bretonnians and so on. But, man, I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Freaking bombards, man. Bombards. Oh, wow. God, I know I've got some of those original models somewhere. I'm gonna go find it. Right, I'm gonna dive into my pile of shame. See you guys soon. Have a great one.